Welcome everyone. This is a very special interview for me at the ABC Conclave. We have Mr. Aly Madhavji over here. So hi sir, how are you?
Fantastic, I'm glad to be here.
It's great seeing you here. It's like I've seen you first time 6 years ago when he was a speaker at an event and I was one of the part of an organizing team, right? And he was sitting next to my flight, right? And now I'm seeing here around. So it's good to see good people getting connected back again with the same ecosystem, right? And you're still a benchmark and making waves in the industry, right? So how's it going for you?
Fantastic, I mean, we've been busy, right? So since 6 years ago when we met, we now have 180 portfolio companies at Blockchain Founders Fund. So there's been plenty of progress. We've got a lot of really incredible companies that we've backed over the years, and we're really excited about a lot of the innovation that's being built in this cycle and working to make the industry a better place.
Great, and how your the projects are doing within the ecosystem as well as the projects that's coming from Web 2 to Web 3 are maybe checking the AI and other features.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're seeing a ton of progress on companies. Obviously, I can't go through all 180, but if you take companies like Kino, we're really excited to see millions of users using Kino now, right? If you take, for example, Huma and ARF, which were one of the first backers of ARF, they just combined raised $38 million in the past month. So like really, really big strides happening. You may have seen a number of months ago the acquisition of Altered State Machine, which we're one of the first backers of. And so you're seeing these really, really big movements in the industries, tectonic shifts that are happening across the portfolio. So it's really, really exciting to see.
Great, and how do you filter out, like, this is the best project for you? Because that's the thing I want to learn from him. And frankly speaking, I'm gonna get 3 names from him to invest for myself as well.
Uh-oh. So, for us, I think a big part of it is finding incredible founders that want to make a difference, that want to change the world, that are very passionate, and being able to come in on the ground floor, so very early. So we do like investing early when we can, pre-seed, seed as entry points. We can follow on in Series A, but it's really about being able to come in, I think, early enough and help also shape the project, help be able to drive it with the founders, and actually make a big difference there. And so, when we see some of the companies like Validation Cloud, which is now one of the biggest in the background of helping to be sort of like the node infrastructure of this industry for major chains, like these types of things I think are pretty exciting to have come in sort of at the ground floor. And one of the things that we like to see is really being able to build sustainable projects. I think this industry's been plagued for too long with a lot of bad actors, a lot of people trying to take advantage of retail, and I think retail is getting a lot smarter. They're waking up to it in this cycle, which is great because I think for many years we've been saying we need to make this industry a lot more fair, a lot more accessible to the masses, and I think that's the reason why a lot of us are in this industry. And let's sort of build that more transparent and fairer future together.
Making it exactly what it says, as transparent as possible for the users, letting them see that what exactly is going inside of a project, right? How do you, let's say if a DeFi project comes to you, right? What are the parameters and how your panel discuss and decide that this is somewhat we can invest in, or maybe we can have a strategic meeting or something? How the security protocols and how the parameters work around that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, whether you meet us or you even go onto our website at blockchainff.com and you share information with us on what you're working on, we actually go through every single application or every single company that gets shared with us. And that's actually very important, right? And so we'll typically look at something like 300 to 500 companies on a monthly basis, and we might invest in 1, 2, 3 companies, right? And so, we are going through a lot of companies. We do have a 90-step process in terms of like the different things that we're looking at, 90 different sort of variables on companies. Depending on how early those companies are, they might not actually have all of those, but that's still okay, right? And of course, a big component's the team, a big component's like, what are they also solving? Does it matter? Do people care? Is it game changing? right? Like, how is this actually going to change the industry? Do they have the technical capabilities to do it? You know, and then one of the most important things at the end of the day when you're looking at a startup is progress over time. How fast is it moving in as little time as possible? So that doesn't mean necessarily it needs to have millions of dollars in revenues or hundreds of thousands of users or anything, but even if we can see in a very short amount of time, they've built way more than we think like a typical company should have. That's already a really good sign as an example. So these types of things are very, very important to help drive decision making.
And because that kickstart is very important to build a product and build a project to that level. And if you get that kickstart in the initial stage at the right time, that's the best thing possible for any project, right?
Absolutely, right? So, I mean, as much as, you know, we do like founders that grind, that really like, you know, go heads down and really want to build and actually, you know, can do a lot with very little. We think being resourceful is important, right? Obviously, there's going to be certain things you do need to spend on as a startup. You do need to build your business, but like, we do want to see that founders are lean, right? Like, sometimes we'll go to these different conferences and we'll see founders spending like 20 grand, 50 grand to host a party, but they haven't, you know, they don't necessarily have the capacity to necessarily even do that at that stage. It's just not like a great use of capital early on. It's not really targeted. It's not like, you know, what you need to be doing, like making key hires, go building incredible product, and then, you know, maybe raising a little bit of money, having a very strong go-to-market plan, and then, you know, being able to execute against that.
Exactly. If you don't have your MVP or the product or the service, whatever you want to give to your clients ready, or maybe in progress to be get ready, what are you gonna pitch at the party? Just drink?
It's true, but I think oftentimes this industry gets really caught up in this hype of, you know, the parties and the conferences, but at the end of the day, what matters is building incredible products that people need and then being able to actually change the world and have them use it, right? And benefit from it. And that's very, very important. So, you know, of course, these conferences are great to be at. It does rekindle a lot of connections. You know, we're seeing each other again for the first time in many years. And, you know, these types of things are important, but it's also important for founders to make sure that they're focused on building and only coming to these events very selectively, you know, when it makes sense at that life of their product. And then, you know, the rest of the time is building incredible, you know, traction, progress, and making a difference.
Just not enjoying the event for fun, but actually working it out, right? So how was your experience at the ABC, right?
I mean, ABC, I think, always throws very good events. There's a lot of high quality people that do come to ABC events. So I do typically enjoy it. I landed in Dubai today, and you know, this is, you know, the first thing I'm coming in to do. So I think it says a lot in terms of, you know, the respect and the quality that ABC typically puts up.
Great, great. Coming back to my initial question, can you name the top 3 of your whole portfolio? Like, these are the ones that you actually see have a real life implementation as well as good results.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's many in our portfolio that I'm really excited about. I think some of them sort of very recently that maybe are gaining a lot of interest. Companies like Kino, I think, is working on changing the entire TV and movie industry in Hollywood and literally has millions of users involved now. And I think that's one that people should take a look at, gain interest. I think a lot of people have interest in TV and movies, so it's an easy one. I think one is Rilla. Rilla is going to, we think, change the world. It's still early, but you know, how do you essentially create peer-to-peer networks on live streaming and really, you know, significantly bring down the cost of delivery of like sport and entertainment and streaming and game streaming and all of these types of things that I think are really, really exciting. And then of course, if you want to go sort of more degen, you know, Berachain. We're obviously very excited about Berachain. It's, you know, built, I think, a pretty incredible community over the last year, and you know, we're very excited about the upcoming launch of Berachain.
I loved it how you just picked one from each segment, right? And that's how we do the work here. It's decentralized, so we just pick from different sectors, right?
There we go. I mean, if you gave me more of a chance, I'd go all day, but let's not do that here.
We have like hundreds of companies listed over here, so yeah, it's gonna take weeks to, so we're gonna launch a whole series for that. But sometime later, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your insights, and it was lovely talking to you. I mean, thank you so much for dropping by after so many years.
My pleasure.